Let's just dive into the questions. First, the ones you really wanted to know. Will you LP Super Bomberman R? I don't have a Switch, so no. I would if someone bought them for me, but you're not going to, and we all know it. Will you LP The Last Guardian or The Last of Us 2? Shadow of the Colossus and the first Last of Us were Travis's LPs, and they were games I never played myself or had much interest in, so no. That would be up to Travis, should he ever be able to come back. Will you LP Zelda Breath of the Wild? Yes, that's coming right after we finish Demon's Souls, which should be finished early in May. We'll likely build up a backlog before the LP starts, but it should begin before the end of spring. Do Skippy Granola and Yamino Senshi have any plans to host LPs on TSN? Yes, I can announce that Skippy will host a New Game Plus LP of Dragon's Dogma after Harvest Moon, so it'll be a while. Also, Yami has plans for a series of 3 mini LPs, one of which he's open to hosting on TSN. Don't know of what yet, though. Will you LP or live stream Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life? I already did a short live stream of it. It was boring. What future LPs can we look forward to? Excluding the previous, we don't have any other definite future LPs, since I knew the Harvest Moons would last a long time. After Demon's Souls, I might continue into the Dark Souls games, or I might just go straight to redoing Bloodborne, since it's the best hands down. I would still like to LP Twilight Princess HD. I think re-LPing the game in a new format with a fresh perspective and the benefit of hindsight could be potentially interesting. I haven't decided on these yet, but 007 From Russia with Love is a possibility, as is Star Fox Command or Zelda Spirit Tracks. A while back, Jacob suggested that he and I trade off on the Metal Gear Solid games, but he's not so interested in that right now. The Asker also suggested 4-player LPs, and I've wanted to do Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker for that exact reason, but most of the people who would have been part of that never had time and are now off the channel. Maybe someday. I love Peace Walker. Will Travis come back full-time when he has all his stuff worked out and is done with school? I think he's graduated by now, but I really have no idea if he ever will have the time to come back. He barely had the time when he was on the team. If he ever is able to come back, it certainly won't be for full-time. I'm the only full-time member, but that's because the channel pays for my rent, not anyone else's. If you're itching for new LPs from him, though, he is co-commentating Highwing's new LP of Hollow Knight, so go check that out on Highwing's channel. Even though Yoshi and Travis aren't on the channel, are you guys still friends? Of course. I'm bad at keeping in contact with people at the best of times, so I drift apart from everyone, but I think we'll always be friends. What was the inspiration to start TheStrawhatNO / how did you get started? Well, the main thing to know is that TSN is inextricably linked with the Midnight Frogs and Sergeant Frog Abridged, though TSN has taken over as my primary project. Back in July 2009, I was in the Ustream chat of a podcast, as were a couple of guys called SMS Yoshi and D Fatman. Yoshi put out the idea to start a Sergeant Frog Abridged series, and a few of us traded Skype names. Nothing happened for months, but Fatman eventually contacted me, and in November we started doing Zelda Let's Plays on a channel called FATLPs. Yoshi joined us that December, we began the Midnight Frogs channel later on New Year's, and began SFA in February 2010. We split from Fatman on April 12th, left FATLPs with him, and began TheStrawhatNO the next day, so LPing was just something we fell into. Same for Travis. Early in 2011, we began working frequently with him on the Midnight Frogs, and I'd also created Jetters Abridged with him, which was based on a Bomberman anime. I thought it would be fun to have Travis commentate a Bomberman game with me from my childhood, Bomberman Hero, and thus he became our third member, while I would be eternally linked to Bomberman for better or worse, as evidenced by the first question in this video. Besides the term Straw Hat being a reference to One Piece, where does the no in your name come from? At the time we were deciding the channel name, Yoshi had recently changed his username from SMS Yoshi to Mugiwara Yoshi, which is a reference to One Piece. However, while he was trying to make a YouTube channel with that name, YouTube glitched out and he lost the account name, so he had to make a new one called Mugiwara no Yoshi. Straw Hat No just sounded funny to us, and that ended up becoming the channel name. It's literally gibberish that sounded funny. But hey, people seem to remember it at least. Certainly more than my first idea, which was Spiky Shell Gaming, or Spiny Shell Gaming. Sort of a play on both of our usernames, and likely one that no one would remember or care about. Keeping TheStrawhatNO going must be a lot of work. What inspires you to keep on keeping on? It's half how much fun I genuinely get out of doing the LPs, especially the commentary. It's the most fun I've ever had doing the same thing for several years, and getting to have other hilarious people make me laugh on my own videos is almost worth it on its own. The other half is the support I get from my Patreon patrons. Thanks to them, I'm able to more or less do this as a job, since this pays for my rent, even though it gets progressively tighter every month. Also at this point, it's not nearly as much work as it looks, if only because I have video and audio editing down to a science. How does one go about becoming a guest and/or pal of yours? There's no one definite way. Every friendship I've ever made was mostly luck, especially with the people who've appeared on this channel. Most of the guest commentators were people I specifically went to or I put out a request on something awful, and I fielded the ones who I thought would work best with us. Easy answer, just don't be a dickhead. We were also asked directly by someone to commentate in our videos, and we have a few times over the years. That answer is no by default, mostly because there's no way to guarantee the quality of the commentary if we don't already know you, or if you don't have your own videos we can field and gauge whether we'll click. Don't come to us, we'll go to you, and we don't usually go to people anyway. You're gonna make a birthday cake for your channel, right? What flavor is it gonna be? Pork bun. And hand. What do you consider to be the best Let's Play this channel has produced? Taking not just commentary into account, but video quality and gameplay, probably Travis's Skies of Arcadia. I think Yoshi and I gave it a fair shake with his Punch-Out Wii, and my Legend of Grimrock 2, though. Are there any LPs that, looking back on, you do differently? I'm plenty disappointed in my earlier LPs, but I don't know that I could have done many of them better. The only one that sticks out is Twilight Princess, since my commentary was not on, nor did I click with many of my guest commentators, hence why I'd like to re-LP it with the HD version at some point. I'd probably also just make a conscious effort to be less pissy, like I was with Skyward Sword or a lot of the Bombermans. That gets tedious and sours the experience. A similar question, any regrets you might have over the channel's lifetime? My biggest regrets come from before the channel or outside it. Maybe doing so many LPs with my now ex-girlfriend. She was a good commentator, and they were good LPs, but I just can't watch them anymore. On the other side of the spectrum, what are you most proud of that came out of TSN? The quality of our videos. I think we found a good balance of informative, thorough, and comedic that makes for LPs worth watching. If you mean something more definite, then I'm pretty proud of being able to LP and archive a couple Harvest Moon games, and a shit ton of Bomberman games before anyone else had on Something Awful. For everyone, your favorite moments from your favorite LP. For me, it's either still the spinning guard from Agent Under Fire, or Marco going "Meh" in Skies of Arcadia. For Jacob, it's either my car getting hit by a train in Agent Under Fire, the mink whale catastrophe in WarioWare, or the enemy is having fun from Bomberman Jetters. For Highwing, it's the last part of Skies of Arcadia, not my April Fool's, the actual last part. For Skippy, it's either the Doc Lewis impressions from Punch-Out, or literally this very week's Harvest Moon recording sessions, which were outrageous. For Yami, it's me getting speared to death during the Storm King boss fight in Demon Souls. Yoshi and Travis never got back to me, but I imagine it's something from Sleeping Dogs, The Last of Us, or Skies of Arcadia. Who's your favorite character from your LPs, be they the actual character, or from the nest of insanity created with Yoshi and Travis? From the actual game, either Groose from Skyward Sword or Shadar from Ni no Kuni. It helps being bright spots in mediocre experiences, I guess. From our lunatic minds, probably Vice from Skies of Arcadia. We made him such a sociopathic nutbag, it was glorious. What's your favorite LP that you've guested on? I haven't guested on many. Highwing's single character run in Grimrock 2 was quite good, and I guessed on a few parts of that. In fact, it's what inspired me to LP it myself. Frozen Treasures LP of Metroid Prime is also excellent, and I read some of the scan logs for that. If you meant guest LPs on TheStrawhatNO, easily Jacob's LP of WarioWare Smooth Moves. Out of all the LPs you've done, which did you have the most fun doing commentary for? Oh god, I have so much fun commentating, I know I can't choose one. WarioWare's certainly up there. Any of Travis's LPs, especially Sleeping Dogs or Skies of Arcadia. Thinking about it, it's probably Sleeping Dogs, purely for how much fun we had commentating, not for the quality thereof. That shit got stupid. Will there be any more best of videos, or are you focusing solely on new content? I'm focusing on new videos for now. I did the best of compilations to make up for the channel's downtimes, which often came about because we couldn't get together to record. I currently don't have that problem nearly as much as before. If I do make more, the next ones will be Skies of Arcadia and Legend of Grimrock 2. My brother wants to make a channel for gaming/LPs. Any advice for him? Gaming and LPing is an oversaturated market. You likely will not get a decent following for a long time, so be sure you're making videos because you enjoy doing it. I'm a bit old school in that I prefer the game take focus over your own personality, but if you're playing a game that you know well, or at least can talk a lot about, your personality will naturally follow. All that combined with clear video and audio quality will typically give you videos that people will want to watch. Don't just build it and they will come, build it right and they will come. Also, make sure you have a strong computer. It'll save you hassle at every point in the production of a video. And don't use Sony Vegas Pro 13, it's shit. Do you have any favorite LPers you take inspiration from or would just recommend? My favorite LPers and primary inspiration for how I format my LPs and run our commentary are Chip and Ironicus. They have informative, thorough playthroughs, which are only enhanced by their sense of humor, and the comedy is completely organic. I took all that to heart from the beginning. Bob and Threadbare's LPs are excellent. They're half informative and calmly humorous LPs, half really in-depth video essays and reviews. It's fascinating stuff. His LA Noire LP is masterful. I also totally recommend Mecha Prime and Evil Tim, even though they don't do LPs anymore. And one of my favorite single LPs of all time is Mercenaries 2 by Hello It's Dan and Lithuanian Dad. You always refer to threads in your LPs, but I don't know where I can find them or what they are. Can you explain that, please? When I say thread, I usually mean a forum thread on the Something Awful forums. Many people haven't been able to find them or go there because you have to pay for an account, and if you don't have one, you may not even be able to see the thread. Luckily, there's a new forum called lp.zone where I've also started posting LPs, and it's totally free. So if you go there, you can find threads for our current LPs, no problem. And also, there's no elitism or white supremacists. Something Awful's not a good place. Why are there no Mario LPs on the channel? No specific reason, we just never did any. Part of it is they're so ubiquitous and uncomplicated that everyone's LP'd them and there's nothing we could add. And I don't think any of us are as big Mario fans as I am with Zelda, which at least I am a massive enough slut for that I can talk about those games for hours and have unique opinions on them. TSN has the same birthday as Homestuck, ever read that? Nope, never interested me. Everyone else I've ever met has read it though. Aside from the games you've LP'd, what games do you have/enjoy playing on the DS and 3DS? I have all the other DS and 3DS Zeldas, and I liked all of them, even Phantom Hourglass. I played a ton of the Animal Crossings, and Star Fox Command like I mentioned. I have Pokemon Soul Silver, which is probably still my favorite of the series, and Black Version, which I bought and played once in Massachusetts, but I haven't touched since. One of the first DS games I got was Lost in Blue, the successor to Survival Kids, and it hasn't aged well, nor was it especially good at the time, but I played through it all the way to at least one of the endings. One of the more esoteric things I have is the Korg DS10 simulator, which I've never figured out how to use. If anyone knows how, hit me up. I'd like to put that to proper musical use someday. Have you played the Zelda Oracle games? Which of them did you like more? I've played a chunk of Oracle of Seasons, and I like it fine. I think I played Ages when I was a kid, but I didn't accomplish much. I get the feeling I would have liked it more now. I was never as into the classic top-down Zeldas until A Link Between Worlds came out. Have you ever played Zelda Minish Cap? Do you plan to LP it? I have not, and I have no intention to play or LP it for the foreseeable future. I hear it's a good game, but Mecha Prime did an LP of it already. There's probably not much more I could add. Same for the Oracle games, Link's Awakening, and what have you. If you're really aching for semi-obscure Zelda LPs, I do have a Patreon goal to eventually LP one of the CDI games, so look that up if you're interested. What is your least favorite game? I'm sure I've played a few horrible ones, but ones that stick out. Overall, probably Harvest Moon Island of Happiness. Could barely play it for half an hour, it controls so badly. That I've LP'd, Skyward Sword. Best argument for why Zelda games shouldn't be released on time. Least favorite good game I played hundreds of hours of, Dark Souls 2. It's remarkable how much better every other Souls game is. What do you think would be better for the developer of Stardew Valley? Keep making new add-on content for the game, or start focusing on a new title, same genre, different background, setting, etc. Hard to say, since I got bored with Stardew Valley far faster than any Harvest Moon game. Stardew isn't even technically complete yet as far as what they said they'd add, so there's no good reason to make a new title. Plus, with the structure of the game and what you can do in it, there's not much to lose by adding more. He'd have to completely derail the game before that stopped being welcome. Due to Skippy freaking out in Animal Parade, favorite animal? I believe he mentioned his favorite is pigs, possibly guinea pigs. Yami's are red pandas, Jacob's are blue whales, and mine are dogs. Ironically. What do you think of pineapple on pizza? I love pizza and I love pineapple, but I never tried them together. I don't expect the flavors to gel. Who would win in a fight, Joel or Wei Shen, assuming they're backed up by Ellie and King, respectively? Wei would win that fight even if he was also fighting King. You can't stop Wei Shen. If Fee and Zinnia got in a fight, who would win? Fee, because no matter how boring Zinnia is, after listening to Fee, she'd snap her own neck. Thorn, why are you the handsomest, sexiest beast alive? You turn me on harder than a carburetor. Good genetics and loneliness. In the event of an emergency, who are you eating first? Well, since none of us live anywhere near each other, ourselves. Thanks for all your questions, folks. If you have any more, feel free to drop them in this video's comments, and maybe I'll make another down the line. For now, we'll see you in the massive LPs coming your way. Goodbye.